So the day I found out I had cancer was October 15th, 2010. No, 2010. It is now March or April 1st, somewhere around there. End of March, April, let's say it's April 1st, 2011. So what has that been? 5.5 months since I found out I had cancer. Where's she going?
I don't know. She's making a beeline for it, whatever it is.
There's this website called The Day I Found Out, and they want me to make a video about the day I found out I had cancer. And I thought it would be worth hearing what are your impressions. What do you remember about that day?
Well, what I remember is that I was at work and you called me when you got the results from the biopsy.
Yeah.
And I came right home.
Yeah.
And I think we just spent like the rest of the afternoon together.
My first suspicion that I could have cancer came in the shower when I found a lump on my breast. So the first thought was like, oh my God, this can't be happening. That is hard, that's a lump. And then my next thought was like, hold on, wait a minute. What are all the things, threads of hope I can hold on to? And the first one was like, well, they tell you to do your breast exam at a certain point in your menstrual cycle, and it was, in a 4-week cycle, I was 2 weeks early or 2 weeks late. And I was thinking, this is not the right time. This is when your breasts are generally lumpier. And this is the time when you'll find things by mistake that are nothing. So don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. And wait 2 weeks. And the other sort of supporting thought was, I had just had a miscarriage. I knew my cycle could be weird right after a miscarriage. My hormones were kind of crazy. And I just wasn't going to panic. And actually, I kind of blocked it out of my mind. I didn't tell my husband. I didn't even think of it. 2 weeks later, I was in the shower again, and I thought of it again. Oh yeah, right, I'm supposed to be checking my breast again. And I felt around, and there was no lump. There was, I wasn't sure. It felt like it was maybe a little thick in the area that had been a lump, or maybe I was just feeling my rib through my skin. But I thought, whatever I'm feeling there, I think I've felt that all my life. Or all my life that I've had these breasts. So, and besides, cancers don't get smaller. I've been told that before. So I dismissed it from my mind. And then, next time I came around to that lumpy part of the cycle, actually, my husband was touching me and he felt it. And he stopped and said, "What is that?"
I was pretty alarmed when I first touched it and felt how big it was.
I put my hand where his hand was and I felt it was basically the same spot. And not only was there a lump there, but it was at least, I would say, twice as big as it had been when I originally felt it.
Getting that biopsy at the surgeon's office was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was kind of poorly done. I mean, in retro, we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like ultimately it got done. You got the biopsy and we found out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to look back on it now and say, oh, that was awful. Because then it's like at least we had some answers.
Yeah.
But it didn't have to be done that way.
Right.
The biopsy in the office with that needle machine thing. That was...
Right, and remember how they wanted me to
well, you were the guinea.
Yeah.
You were the guinea pig.
Yeah.
This new machine. I don't know. They had some new machine that they had just purchased from some medical equipment company, and they had a sales rep who was there waiting around just for your appointment, because they wanted to sit in and watch how the machine worked and be able to give them instructions and give them whatever technical advice they needed. So, you know, afterwards I had this feeling like they were really looking forward to you having this biopsy done so that they could try this new machine out. Like, what?
I should also interject that I refused to have the sales rep in the room, and I just sort of grilled the doctor about his experience with this type of machine and how different it was from the old machine, and he assured me that he was confident that he did not need her in the room, and I was like, then no, I'm not having the sales rep in the room. But it was really brutal. Like, he was like jabbing me.
Yeah, it was.
And when I had to get biopsies done again, it was nothing like that. You weren't there though, right? They wouldn't let you in the room for that one.
No.
But it was nothing like that. It was like it was guided by ultrasound.
Oh, and really got
oh, geez, look at that. What do you got, Millie? You want to show it to us? Oh, she's just so proud. She's definitely not going to share that with us. Is it antlers?
It looks like antlers.
Or is it bone? Wow, Millie. So I did get a recommendation for a surgeon who did the biopsy in his office, and I told him, you know, call me I was going to see him the following week, but I said, look, if you're going to get the results before the weekend, just call me and tell me, whatever it is. I'd rather know and process that before I see you than wait out the weekend wondering. So he did. He called me and he told me it's cancer. He called me. I went to the gym that morning. He called. I knew I was going to hear from him that day. But I didn't expect it to be early in the day. And I went to the gym, and on the drive home from the gym, the call came. And I was about a mile from home. And I said, I'm driving, I'm a mile from home. Can I, he said he would call me back at, I don't know if he said 15 minutes, I think he said. And I went home, and oh my God, my legs were shaking. I went in the house, legs shaking, used the bathroom, and then immediately grabbed the phone, sat down, grabbed a notebook, wrote down my 2 questions, and sat straight and shaking, and watching the clock until the phone. Oh, and then I called my husband and I said, "Wait by the phone. He's calling me back, and I'll call you right back after." And I had made it clear to the doctor that I wanted the information as soon as possible, and I was fine with getting it over the phone. In fact, I actually preferred the idea of getting it over the phone, because then I didn't have to have my reaction in front of the doctor. I was prepared to ask like 2 or 3 questions. I wrote down the answers, hung up the phone, called my husband, cried my eyes out. But I didn't really want to, have that reaction in front of the doctor.
It was a little surreal. I couldn't quite grasp all of it at that point. I think my mind was just trying to. Oh, I know. I remember now. When I got off the phone with you, one of my coworkers came over and was asking a question, and she could tell that something was really off, and she just kind of said, "Are you all right?" And I just told her that I just found out that you got diagnosed with cancer, and I have to leave. And I mean, she was great. She was just like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," and just go. We'll take care of anything that comes up. And I just grabbed my coat and walked out. And I think I was kind of in shock.
Yeah. When I called Jim, he said, "I'm coming home," and he did. And it was a beautiful, sunny, warm fall day, and we went for a long walk in the woods with our puppy. And it was a Friday, so we had the weekend, and we did several long walks that weekend. And what I remember most about them is just, you know, how just floored we were that this was the news, and that this is what we needed to prepare for. And you know, I would cry and he would cry. But what I remember most of all is that we also would laugh. And the things that we laughed about is sort of a strange, sort of bitter, dark humor. It's just sort of, not even, I don't know if it was all that dark, but like, I remember at one point, like, you know, in the months leading up to my diagnosis, I had kind of figured some things out about the way that I eat, and really kind of gotten a grip on it, and I was losing weight, and I, you know, I felt really good, and I felt like I looked good, and, or better, and, I just remember saying at one point to Jim, great, now everyone's gonna think I'm thinner because of the cancer. Like, I wanted the credit. Like, I was proud of myself, because I really sort of stopped some bad habits, and started some good ones, and I didn't want the disease getting the credit for that. So, and then there was another point where, we were walking in the woods, and we had talked a lot, and there was this long silence, and then Jim kind of went, and I asked him what was the thought. And he said, great, now I'm going to have to wear pink. Most of the, I think this is common, but most of the thoughts that I had when I first found out that I had cancer were about other people, about dying and how that would affect other people in my life, and about having to tell my family. I really just, my heart was breaking to tell them, you know. So I was thinking about how cool it would have been if I had this camera before I got diagnosed. I could have documented the whole sort of early stages of when you first find out you have cancer. But in a way, maybe I'm lucky I didn't, because it was very hectic and overwhelming. That's the hardest part. When you first find out, it's just like your whole life, it's just an incredible, like, the bottom's falling out of your life. Anyway. But I remember how strange it felt, and others had told me this was one of the hardest parts, was, you know, feeling perfectly healthy and being told, no, you're not. You're not healthy. You have something that could kill you, and we have to do stuff that's going to make you feel very sick in order to get rid of it. And there's basically strangers telling you this. It didn't occur to me that if and when I ever found myself in that situation, that how strong the urge is to not believe the doctor. How much like the enemy they seem. It's a leg. Ugh. Oh my god.
Wow, look at the joint too. Look at that. The joint is intact.
Oh, that's creepy.
Wow.
Can I have a kiss? Well, that's the end of the tennis ball. Until the next time we come out here and she goes back for it.
Who knows?
Millie, get your ball!
Where's your ball, Millie?
She's like, I'm guarding this leg. Are you kidding me?
I know you guys are going to take it away.
I know where you got more tennis balls.